my headphones.
Okay, for me there is no
The
echo.
Instagram. Saurabh, Arvind, if you have joined, can you just check and tell me
Maybe
if you
just
also?
switch the headphones, Vishruti.
Yeah. Ekta Didi, if you can just suggest me if you can hear an echo in my voice. Wait.
Yeah, is it still coming? For you, it is coming. Mm-hmm. When I'm speaking, still echo is coming.
No, there is echo
Uh,
from both voices.
both the
Okay.
voices.
Okay. Now, no, the echo is still there.
Somehow, I'm not able to
Hmm.
hear any echo.
Thanks, Arvind.
Hmm.
Should I say
Both
anything?
both the headphones are plugged
Uh,
in.
yeah, both the headphones are plugged in, but I think. Hi, Rachita. You can hear echo, Rachita, in my voice?
Yeah, Facebook also. Can anybody hear echo from any of our voices? You can just tell us in the comments. I'm not able to. Are you able to hear echo Vishruti?
Yeah, I can hear it on my Instagram headphone. I have both the headphones
Oh,
right
okay.
now. So,
Okay.
Instagram, I can hear my own echo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, should I try changing the headphone? Because last time it wasn't there.
Yeah, you can try that.
We can't
Oh,
hear Ratnesh voice. Ah,
you can't hear my
okay.
voice. Totally can't hear only, but you can hear my voice.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
now,
also
yeah.
could hear
I
your
also
voice,
could hear your
Ratnesh.
voice,
Yeah.
Ritesh.
Now,
Yeah.
are you able to hear me on Instagram?
Yeah. And my echo is also gone, at least from my headphones. I'm able to
Okay.
hear you on both the platforms. Yeah.
One
Ratnesh
train
did
on
some
two
magic.
platforms. It is always gonna be tricky. Oh, now we can hear. So Indumati
Yeah.
is right,
Thanks,
helping us,
thanks.
relieving us.
Yeah. Lovely. So,
Mm.
yeah. Welcome to the We Talk again. We are back, me and Ratnesh together. I think we both have this habit of talking, and I think that gets converted into something, and we call it a We Talk. So this month in July, yeah, thanks, Arvind, thanks. Yeah, I think we also feel it's clear now. So in this month, July, we are going to talk about learning styles. And very beautifully, we begin with learning styles. Whose style? Uh, I think what we kind of focused in the last first we talk when we were, discussing about learning styles. Generally, whenever it's about learning style, we consider it as auditory, we consider it as visual, we consider it as kinesthetic, and then we try and relate children also in the similar manner. But I think this we talk the second one, we are kind of trying to understand learning style in the next step. So I think first, last time, Ratnesh, you mentioned a very beautiful thing, that whose learning style, because we all learn different things differently. And I think we all have different priorities in terms of interest, we all have different priorities in terms of how we want to do it. And somehow, when we understand learning style itself from this perspective, it kind of widens or opens a lot of possibilities for us to see when the child is learning anything. Am I there?
Yeah. Also, importantly, we have lots of learning styles. Even to do the same thing, we do it in many styles. So there isn't. So this whole thing between my style, child style, and the right style. So somehow we think that there is a right style, and we need to teach or habituate our child into that. While we ourselves have some 10 styles of doing it, so they can't be a right style. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to start with a little story. Actually, the story should have been told in the previous talk,
Baby
but
crab.
since I forgot, yeah, let me start today. So this is like a recap of the last session and connector between the
Okay.
last and this one. So
The
this
brand new
story is
fresh story from Ratnesh. Brand
yes.
new fresh story from Ratnesh.
So this story is about a baby crab. So baby crab and mama crab were, kind of walking along the beach. Yeah. And the if you looked at the baby crab, he would walk a little, then he will stagger to one side, and then he will walk a little, and in his walk he will kind of stagger to one side. And kind of Mama Crab was noticing it. So the Mama Crab said to him that, "Dear, I think this isn't a good walking style. So I think you need to improve your gait and improve your walking. And yeah, I think we need to work on this." So he said, "Very well, Mama. You show me, and I will copy you." Right. And that's when Mama started, suddenly said, "Okay, I will do that." And she started walking. And when Mama Crab walked, she walked a little, staggered, and she walked straight, and then she moved to one side. And and then they both started laughing. Right. So, so I think as parents, we end up doing this. We think that there is a right way of doing things, and we tend to be very preachy, very, very kind of, yeah, very preachy about it, while we forget that we possibly ourselves aren't, staggering a bit here and staggering a bit there, or moving a here and moving it there, and so on. And we think that the right part is very, very important. So I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
yeah, I think it's very important that we let go of that. Uh, we let
yeah,
go of the right style and just move along with my styles and your styles and his styles and her styles and so on. I think
yeah.
that would make a lot more peace on any beach or anywhere
On
for that
any.
matter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was, when you were sharing a story, I was also thinking that a lot of time when we are actually preaching or teaching, we don't realize it. But it's only when the child is there next to us, imitating, or maybe when we actually do it in front of the child, when we are trying to teach. I think a lot of realization comes there. Sometimes also, child also becomes a mirror. So yeah, I mean, yeah, when you were sharing the story, that was on top of my mind, that it's important to reflect and see ourselves as a mirror whenever we are thinking from the window that I need to teach this, or my child is not doing this in a correct style or correct way. So I think what majorly, whenever I feel that we are understanding learning style, what majorly we are focusing on how. So there can be millions of house, and I think every child and every parent will have their own different house.
Sure, sure, sure. And which is why it is even more important, if at all we want to reach the child, not teach the child, not preach the child, but if you want to reach the child, uh, and I can say this line 100 million times, believe me, everywhere and anywhere. Okay. So if that is obviously, so if you want to teach and preach the child, this V talk isn't for you. But if you want to reach the child, this is it. This is the kind of window where we are in. So if you want to
Yeah,
reach the child, it's actually very interesting to understand the child's learning styles, rather, right? Not because of now the right and wrong is, I'm assuming, is out of the window. So we are not talking
absolutely.
from right or wrong, but we are trying to understand what makes him tick or her tick, what makes him or her walk, right? In a way, what's her walk or what's his walk, and if we are able to understand that, we can reap lots of benefits. But before
Yeah,
we go to reaping the benefits is in the next we talk. But this we talk, let's just think about, let's just understanding, as in, how, what is it that we are trying to understand when we say let's understand somebody's learning style. And as you very rightly mentioned, most people end up talking about this visual, auditory, kinesthetic. I say blah blah blah. All that I
Yeah.
don't like. What I like is the child, not
As it
these
is.
as it is.
Yeah, as
and
it is.
and then when I observe is when I'm understanding this child's learning styles, which are not there in any book, right? Because in this, it's in this child, and he would or she would do it in this way, right? And the more I observe, and invariably observation could mean either me taking notes, mental or physical. Physical is even better in my experience, or me taking videos, or whatever else way you want to observe your child, because understanding can only come not from one data. Ask any researcher, ask any analyst. You can't understand something just by one data. So we have to have lots of data in
Yeah.
various scenarios, in various ways, and over a period of time. And in research methodology, it is very very important that you span your research over many samples and over a period of time. Then only the research holds. uh, so in the same way, like you ask people, what is the about the vaccine, COVID vaccine, they say, yeah, only it's been only a limited time, we only know this much. Even about COVID, they say it's only over years we will know it. So in the same way,
Yeah.
over years we know the child, and especially child is mutating every day, like our COVID, right? He's changing, she's changing, evolving, thinking, absorbing, and so on. So it's very important that uh, we understand
Observe.
the
Yeah.
child, observe the child over a longish period of time, and we kind of make notes, because what happens invariably if we don't make notes, the recency effects starts coming in. If I think um, pick up anything, then he leaves towel on the whatever, and wet towel on the bed kind of thing. Oh no, that's more like a habit. Let's say style. Let's say he sings a lot in while taking bath and takes a lot of time. Let's say that's somebody's style of taking bath. So we tend to think only about if it has happened like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By Thursday, my flags are up. Why is he spending so much time in the bathroom, kind of thing. So I'm saying, or pick up any other style. So if you take it
Yeah.
over a longer period of time, you realize that it's not always like that. It's not, and then you may
Yeah.
discard it. And if it is like that, then that's okay. That's, you understand that as okay. This is a trend of this child, and he or she likes doing it this way, and so on and so forth. So it's very very interesting, and very very important. Let me pause here. I've been talking a lot.
No, I think what you said made a lot of sense to me because in my experience, a very recent experience has happened. So, like now, as after so many VTalks, almost everybody who have heard VTalks before would be aware that my son loves Lego and construction toys, and now to a certain extent electronics and making something with all of that. So from a very young age, I always observed that he's with puzzles, a lot of mental games kinds. So I saw a little pattern in that. And somewhere, whenever it came to going out and jumping and doing lots of things, not that he never chose that, but it was always the second priority, or maybe in the free time kinds. So I kind of noted that and made a belief on the basis of that he will always choose some, like if there is something like this, some lot of physical activity, and if he has to make something like this, then he would choose this one. So recently, I think today morning only, we were discussing. He said, "Mama, I want to buy a bat." He's playing a lot of like these days football and basketball. He's trying all of those things, and along with that, he said, "I also want to learn cricket, so I want to buy a bat." So one of his Lego was pending since 2 months. So I said that we can buy either of this one Lego that you really wanted, and we are missing those parts, so we can buy that, or we can buy bat. So you choose what you want to buy. And to my huge surprise, he right away said that, "Mama, we can buy Lego next month. I want to buy a bat first." And I right away realized that that I kind of had an expectation also, like in my mind I had kept the answer ready that this is what he's going to choose. I also spoke to my husband about it, that I'm planning to buy this one, and I think we'll buy bat next month. But before I could do anything, he made a very, very clear and distinguished choice. And I was so surprised. And I think what you are saying makes a lot of sense right now to me, that it's important that, I keep checking, every now and then, because I don't know when things, when how his priorities or how his choices or how I want to do it will start changing. And yeah, for that, this constant track is very, very important. Yeah.
Only small thing, Vishruti, the example that you have shared is actually little less about style. It's more about the content. It's more about where is my interest right now. Yeah, as in my interest is slightly or for a temporary phase or for some amount of time switched to, let's say, cricket for some reason from Legos. And not that Lego has gone totally down, but right now
Yeah.
the top position is by cricket, and the Lego is anyway my constant thing, so it's there. So it's
Yeah.
more a question of his shifting his priorities or interests, let's say, or there's a new interest now. It's like a new friend coming in your house, but that by itself isn't about learning style. Or even if I remove the word learning, it's not about his style. Yeah, it is his interest has changed and evolved, and good that you pointed out that observation is important even for recognizing that. But I'm little somewhere else. I'm more in the styles part, where
So
anything that I do, right?
so can
How
you
do I do that? Yeah.
share anything which comes to your mind, let's say, about his style? So
Okay, so let me give you an example, or rather, let me give everybody a series of examples. Okay, the reason I'm doing it is because it's very interesting because we can compare our styles versus our child's styles. So, if there are parents in this we talk, listening to this we talk, then compare yourself with your child. And if you're not yet a parent, you can compare yourself with your spouse, with your boss, with your dad, mom, whoever, right? Doesn't matter. Right now, just so I'm going to speak two statements. You have to choose which one applies for you and which one applies for your child. Okay. For example, after you do something, somebody could just keep it to himself. I did something, I'll keep it. Let's say I made a painting, I keep it. And somebody wants to immediately show it to so many people, or at least somebody immediately take a photograph and WhatsApp to your friends, see, I made this, or post it on Instagram. Or if you are a child, go and show it to mama or dadima or whatever. So which one is you, Vishruti, and which one is your child? You do something, you want to show it, or you want to just go on next. Abhi ho gaya, ban gaya wo. Right? So just
I think
I'm
I
not saying, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I think I will keep it to myself only, and I'm not sure
And
about
Vedant?
my son. Yeah, Vedat might show, but he might choose not to show also sometimes.
Okay, so more data is required.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take another one. Let's say you are stuck somewhere. Will you ask
Okay.
for help or will you keep trying yourself?
I'll keep trying myself, and Vedat will ask for help. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So it could be similar, it could be different. That's okay. Let's take another one. Let's say you want to do something, something, let's say, new. Would you like to discuss it with somebody who knows it, or at least somebody who is around, or would you like to jump in straight? Dekha jayega jo hoga.
I would like to discuss it, prepare myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what about your child?
Yes, yeah, my son would right away jump into it. Yeah.
Okay. Let us say you are thinking about something, let's say on a call with somebody or thinking about something. Would you like to little doodle, make some notes or something? You like pen and paper or something there? Or do you, nothing, no drawing, doodling, sab kuch, it's all here?
I would like to doodle and draw and make some notes and do something with it. Yeah.
And what
And my
about your child?
son, my son wouldn't do that.
Okay. Let's take a simple thing. Early riser, late riser.
That we both are late risers.
Fair enough. Okay. If you're doing some work, do you like short breaks in between? I walk over, I eat something, I drink something, I look out of the window, or do you like when I'm doing something, that's it, nothing, no breaks required
Nothing.
till
Yeah,
I reach
yeah, yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah, yeah. Nothing required. Yeah.
Which one?
Nothing required till I
Nothing
reach somewhere.
required. You don't like breaks and all that.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
stretch, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And what about Vida?
Vedas will, yeah, he will take a break. He'll come back.
Hmm. Okay. And let us say you know something, do you like to teach others, or you only teach when they ask you? And not
Hmm.
your child, in general.
Only teach when it is asked. Yeah.
Okay.
And my son, I think he would teach anybody whether you want it or no. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, if you want to find out about something, do you prefer reading? Do you prefer videos?
Reading.
Hmm. And I don't know about Veda, meaning you can think about it.
He would choose any of it. I think he's comfortable with both of them. Books
Both.
and
Okay.
yeah, both. Yeah, videos. Both. Depends what he wants to explore. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
But with your
Um,
questions, at least I'm getting little aware that we aren't there together in everything the way we do. I think our house are comparatively
Absolutely.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can go on. I can go on putting these some millions of these questions. 1 million questionnaire. I will send it to you a link, and you can answer all the million questions. And by the time you reach, whatever the 99 lakhs 999th question, you may realize something.
No, I realized for the from the fourth one only, so I don't have to reach to 900, whatever 99. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what do you
I
realize?
think
Enlighten me.
I realize it's not only me and my son, even me, my husband, my son, my mother in law, my father in law. We all have so many different ways of dealing with one single thing. Even if when it comes to cooking, the way my husband cooks, the way I cook, the way my mother in law cooks is drastically different. Forget. And then the way Vedat cooks. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's also way different. Yeah. So I'm just thinking that yeah, I guess there's absolutely no one way. The way Vedat is relating with mathematics in his day-to-day life is also something that's coming in my mind right now, and I'm realizing that's definitely not the way I have learned, or anybody would think that he can practice mathematics, but I think that's how he's doing it. So um, yeah, yeah. I'm just
Okay.
thinking
What
that
else? What else did you realize? I'm sorry. There are many realization. This hopefully million realization. So one is this. Yeah, we are all very different. We have different styles. What else?
uh,
Audience can also, whoever is listening to this live, can share if you heard my questions and you were also thinking about yourself and your child or your spouse or something. If something is coming to your mind, what does this help you realize? So what Vishruti shared, one is that yeah, there's so many ways in which each one of us is different.
yeah, yeah.
What else?
I think we connect also with things very differently, and that's why maybe we are the house are getting decided or designed.
Hmm.
Everyone is unique in their own way. Yeah, Krishna is
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
similar to the first point. We are all unique, different. We have different style. I just want to move ahead. So what else? What else?
yeah.
There are many more thoughts. What
So
else do you realize from this? Yeah.
with each thing, the way I connect matters because that's how I'm deciding to learn or grow or know more about that thing. So
Hmm.
let's say connecting means right now what's coming to my mind is food. So the way I connect with my food and the way my husband or even for that matter my son connects with the food is completely different. So I mean in terms of need I'm thinking the way
Sure. Sure.
my need of food and their need of food has a different what you say priority or need level, and
Sure.
I think we all are developing our styles also in that ways.
Hmm.
So
So what does
yeah,
that
yeah.
mean? I'm trying to distill it down to a realization.
Hmm.
So each one of us has different styles.
So each one of us will take it differently, I guess. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
learn
that
it
is
in
that
a
is
different
that
way.
was the first one in the sense when we are saying that. Okay, see, let's go back. What are we trying to do? Why are we doing all this? We're trying to do all this to understand the child or the other person, if you want to keep it generic. But let's stay with children. So, as a parent, I'm trying to understand my child. And please realize I've said the word trying at the beginning because we can never really totally understand anybody for that matter. Right? So when we are trying to understand, when people say, I want to understand somebody or I want to understand my child, I would say, okay, so what do you want to understand? Right? Because we don't have this, we don't think about what. But now this list, I only shared about what, 7, 8 questions. Imagine
Questions,
this
yeah.
list can run into thousands and millions. And then if I notice, just notice, okay, so he does it this way. Okay, he does it this way in your case because it's your son, or if it's a daughter, she does it this way. Oh, she likes doing it this way, or like she likes doing it this way. So what is happening when I'm collecting, and I know my mind is different and the child is different, okay, or in some cases similar, some cases little different, some cases almost opposite. But the whole point is, what am I doing by doing this? By doing this little exercise. Right now, we were doing it as a questionnaire. We don't need to. We can just do it as an observation comes. What is that giving to me? What is that?
I think that is giving me a lot of.
Almost, I'm sorry. I'm almost saying that, you should be saying, Ratnesh, give me the million questions. Because what will happen if you actually go through those million questions? What will
Yeah.
that give you?
I think this is right now is giving me a lot of acceptance and about the fact that uh, we learn very differently, and also that gives me a lot of peace of mind that if my child is not learning my way, it's okay because
Hmm.
he's
Hmm.
learning his way. And similarly, when he's trying to approach anything, maybe I'm not trying to pull out my house that this is how you should do it. And I think maybe this might give me some time to pause and wait for his way to come to me, reach to me, and I think explore together. And maybe tomorrow, if he when he sees me doing something in my way, and he sees he doing something in some way, tomorrow he might also realize that we both do it very differently, and yet we do it kinds.
Yeah. And Tej Krupa and Facebook is saying that that is it's giving me different approach.
Yeah.
Yes, if I extend that, I would say to me it gives so many ways to understand somebody. Right?
Yeah.
If I really say yes, I want to understand this, I need to go down into the details. Understanding is not some global thing. Arey, I understand Vishruti. Ha ha ha. Not that kind of a thing. That's not really understanding, right? That's just my opinion about her or image about him. But when I
Yeah.
when I go down into details, then I start understanding. Not in terms of right and wrong, as you rightly pointed out, but in more in terms of, okay, this is he or she, and this is me, and more
Yeah.
importantly, this is he or she. That this is
Yeah.
me realization is the first one, but and the
Yeah.
acceptance hence coming is the second one. But more important is we start understanding, yes, how the child approaches and how the child is evolving
Yeah.
in those, and how then that will come later on to how we can support the child. But I still don't want to jump there into how we can support the child. Just this understanding itself is so beautiful, because
Yeah.
that slows us down, because now we have so many details, we have so much data, we have we have so many windows to look at the child, right? And then we can start kind of connecting with the child or reaching out to the child in so many different ways. Then when something happens, I am not immediately bothered. As you said, there's a lot of peace, because
Yeah.
I have so much more to in my pockets. I have so much more in terms of ways in which I can connect and reach out to the child, because I've
Yeah.
observed those details in the child.
True.
Vishruti, parents would, since I've been working with children for almost now, 21 years, parents would come even today and even earlier that, okay, here is my child, okay, we want him to be part of your community. We'll say, great, awesome. And after 1 week, they will call up and say, how's my child doing? I said, I have no idea. And then after 1 month, they will call up, okay, can we have a meeting? I want to have a discussion. You would have observed my child. I said, yeah, but I just started. In 1 month? That's hardly a time to observe anybody, isn't it? What do you say?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
I, in 1 month, comment on somebody? Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I've been living all my life with myself. I find it difficult to comment
Mindset.
on myself. But so there's a lot more to understand, and then that is why there is no hurry to label, to categorize,
Figure
you know,
out. Yeah.
to figure out. And yes, as Tej Krupa is again mentioning, she's saying, I realize one thing that our, she or he, sorry, I realize one thing that our pure presence is enough for them. Yes, that's when we start holding back. That's when the acceptance come. That's when the presence come, rather than, uh, you know, kind of movement comes, right? So that's just the presence. So that's when the teach and the preach go out, and just the reach, I would
Remains.
say,
Yeah.
happen. So when we say understanding learning style, it isn't about going to a book and reading about learning style. No, no, no. We don't need that. I don't think anybody needs that. If anybody can say, yes, if there are 30 children in my classroom, 30 might be learning in 30 different ways, I think that teacher understands learning style. If a parent has two children and one spouse, let's say minimum, so then you have three people to, apart from yourself, so four people to understand, right? And that's the beauty of it, right? And knowing that these also change. See, when we were doing these little questions, it is not, if you go back how you were 10 years back and how you are 10 years now, not that everything will be similar. Okay,
Absolutely.
maybe 10
Yeah.
years
True.
back you used to take lots and lots of notes. Maybe now you don't take notes. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe 10 years back you were very particular, table, chair, lamp, light, everything, no noise, nothing. Maybe now little music in the background is good, man. Right.
Yeah.
So it's we are also changing, evolving all the time, acquiring new styles from God knows where, and discarding or modifying the ones that we had, and so on. And as we talked about in the last time, even different situations, different emotional states, different contexts, different social situations, different learning styles different living styles kick in.
Yeah.
Right? So even
True.
that is there. So if I ask you a question, would you like to work? Do you like to work alone, or do you like to work with somebody? A good answer would be depends.
Yeah.
Right?
What am I
What am I
working on?
doing? What kind of work I'm doing? If I'm cooking, I like to work with a lot of group, ho halla, cutting, chopping, somebody's doing. But if I'm writing something, I like to work alone. Sab log bhago bar. I want to quietly sit down. And so again, is there a standard style? No,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this I like this. It depends. Huh, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Your favorite word, maybe. Yeah.
Because people would turn around to both of us and say, hey, if I have to observe my child for 1 million things, so all my hairs will go gray. What are you talking about? So I'll say, okay, you don't want to do all of that, then just leave everything as it depends. That's
Perfect.
another way to understand somebody.
Yeah. It depends. Yeah.
It
Maybe.
depends. I was sitting in a train, and a guy with bananas came along selling bananas. So the guy sitting, two guys were sitting in front of me, and I was sitting this side. They also bought some bananas. I also bought the bananas. They peeled, chucked it, where, and I peeled and put the peel back in my bag. Okay, does that make me superior to them, or is it just style? No, I would say it depends. It depends where they are.
It depends. Which perspective
Actually,
we're looking at. Yeah.
yeah, because otherwise it will just boil me in, right? Otherwise, I'll keep on
Yeah.
thinking, what kind of people are they? They have no civic
Oh
sense.
my
They're throwing a peel in
God.
the train.
You just addressed something which I'm struggling now. I've got like this open. Okay, wow. In fact, when you were questioning, I was also thinking the moment you question that, no, that do you go and ask for help or you just do it yourself? And I think my son does the other way around. So I think we a lot of time have this conflict or at least questioning. I always say, why do you want to go and ask for help? Do it. No, I mean, why don't you do it? Now, I just realized that that's okay. I mean, that's absolute. Even asking for a help can be considered as one of the strategy to deal with or to learn something. So yeah, I think maybe we are so stuck with our own styles that we feel that the other styles doesn't exist or are not maybe right or wrong. But yes, that's very, very true. Yeah,
Um,
it depends.
one more point I want to make. Actually, I wanted you to make. I wanted you to ask me, why are you asking these stupid questions? And I should have told you in an angry voice, these are not stupid questions. And then you should have told in an even angrier voice that these are stupid questions because they're trying to divide us as this or that. As if life is about either I am a late riser or I am early riser, or I am the note taking person or the not note taking person, or whatever. We
Yeah,
tend to think in a polarity way, black or white, binary way, 0 or 1, this or that, but actually that is not true. And
yeah,
this kind of questionnaires, so to say, which internet is flooded with and so on and so forth, are meaningless, right? Because we don't exist in polarities. We are neither black nor
yeah.
white. We are like
And
million
in
kids.
fact, it brings a lot of baggage of those images also. I'm this way and the child is that way. So tomorrow maybe the child will choose something else, and the way I get surprised, or the way my expectations like got built up without even I was being consciously aware. I think, yeah, I mean, it also becomes a baggage. Very true.
Yeah, and the other thought, very interesting thought, is that uh, since I have few ways, and since child has few ways, let's say child has 10 ways of doing something, and I have also 10 ways of doing something. So then together we already have 20 ways of doing something.
True.
And before I start asking the child to explore my 10 ways, can I explore his 9 other ways? One he's showing right now, there might be 9 more. And then
Yeah.
first I gain. So I move from my 10 to 20. Okay. And then the child can see if he wants to copy me, like the baby crab who wanted to say, Mom, you show me. So what I'm saying, together we are rich, or
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
richer than individually. And you add your spouse in it, and add your mom-in-law in it, and add your neighbor into it, and then you got 60 styles. No, like you
Yeah.
are just do that. You are just, not just have your own style of speaking. You're constantly seeing how different people speak, and you bring
Yeah.
that into your
Flavor.
speech,
Yeah.
right? The way
Yeah.
flavors and all that. You pick up something there, and you add suddenly in your speech, and it sounds so nice on radio. Oh wow,
Yeah.
this RJ is too good, kind of thing. So the RJ is too good because the RJ is not. It's not a monologue. It's not a mono style, right? Mono
Yeah.
style is boring, yeah, right? But that's the beauty. It's
Yeah. I
like I
don't find
always
mono
say,
styles boring, but yeah, you can continue.
yeah, if the mono style is mono style, it can be boring. If the mono style itself is rich with many styles, then it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
And
It
also when
depends,
I
the mono style, it depends.
yeah. I mean, don't take it literally. What I'm trying to say is not
Yeah, yeah, I'm
just
just
the
kidding.
talking style, it's everything. The way I
Yeah.
bring thoughts, the way I bring contents, the way I make connections, the way I relate to
Yeah.
my, let's say, listeners as an artist. There's so many dimensions, so many, dimensions, and each one we are connecting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
True.
so this realization that I can pick up styles, copy styles, and so can the child, and so can everybody. It just makes our whole environment riches, because sometimes doing it in another way we may not have, ever realized how is it. We may not
True.
have tried, or even if we'd have tried, we'd have discarded it long back. But now trying it can bring a completely different, way of doing something.
Perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Yeah. It's conflicting even to imagine trying the kids 9 Arvind,
Yes,
we are
Arvind,
there with
yes.
you, yeah.
So I often give this example. Imagine you enter into a room and your child is holding an orange, okay, and then the child pokes that orange with the back of the spoon and turns it around and then squishes the orange and it trickles down the elbow, okay, and the child is trying to lick it. Now that is
Mama,
the
I'm making
child's.
orange juice.
Now you tell me, what will you do? Will you try and say new style of eating orange? And then you will also try it and see how does it taste off your elbow, this whole thing. Or you will
That's
say,
it.
no, that's not the way to eat an orange. Let me teach you the right way to eat an orange.
Arey, yeah. I think this was the perfect example to think, ponder, to put ourselves in the challenging zone of are we really up for those other 9 or 10 ways? So, yeah. Arvind, I'm there with you. In fact, we are there with you. Yes.
I'm
We're
alone.
literally. Yeah. Yeah, once or twice it's fine. So that's where the challenge lies. Yeah, how many times and how many ways and how those ways. So yeah, all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the interesting is, let us say, you are in front of me, right? I'm considering you to be a child right now, and you are, let's say, doing something, right? Something, anything. Let's say you're doing this orange thing only, right? This poking the orange. Let's assume that I'm just visualizing Vishruti doing it. So let's say
Okay. We are
I
moving.
I'm not so burdened by this thought that how many of her styles I will need to copy. That's not on my mind. But my mind is to reach out to her, to connect with her, right? And I say, oh, Vishruti, this is amazing. Let me try this also. I also want to, experience this way of kind of eating an orange, right? So now I'm not saying I'm going to copy all your other 9 styles of eating anything or fruit or an orange. But just by doing that once, and I don't need to even adopt it, I don't need to agree to something. See, doing
Yeah.
something, observing something, appreciating something, connecting with something does not mean I need to agree to it. That I need
True.
to henceforth every time eat it in that way. But I know
Absolutely.
that there is another way. And imagine what it will do to you when I pick up an orange and trying that. Just that. I do that. I may still make a mess. I may make a fool of myself. I may shout, I am never going to do this again. But what will it do to you? The fact that I kind of
Tried.
tried your style rather than
Exactly.
impose my big style. What will it
I
do to you?
think
Tell me that.
I think it will be a very beautiful moment for me because I will at least feel accepted the way I'm doing it. And that so in my experience, lot of time that has happened that my son also has immediately said, okay, now let's try your way. I'm not saying that it will happen every time, but I have seen that the moment he sees that my way or whatever I'm doing is accepted, then automatically I've seen that he also comes to me and tells me, okay, now you show me the way you were saying. So somewhere I feel that that also begins my connection with him. Whenever he's trying to say, oh no, I want to do it in my way only. So yeah, I think trying his
Yeah.
way has been a lot of time amazing. I mean, not that then right away we also discuss and I tell him that what you are doing is also ultimately reaching to the destinations. Let's say if it's about bringing the oranges out of orange, but it reaches the destination. But I think you also have this option. Now you pick and choose when you went, and I don't know, at least that has helped me and my son a lot of times. I don't have to bring him to my way. Um,
Hmm.
या बिकॉज आई थिंक वो एक्सेप्ट कर लिया ना, वो आई थिंक वही चीज है जो बहुत ऐसा पूरा चेंज कर देती है. या
Yeah, but people find it difficult to accept. So I say don't accept. Okay. Don't accept. Just connect. Connecting is easier. I'll try your way. Right? I'm not guaranteeing of accepting anything, but I'm just wanting to try your way. So when I'm on your side, automatically ये सब वो जो acceptance सब automatically the bonding starts flowing. Yeah.
But then,
And
Ratnesh, if I'm trying your way out, also should not come from the expectation कि okay ठीक है अभी मैंने तुम्हारा try कर लिया ना अभी तुम मेरा try करो तो
yeah,
शायद वो
no,
नहीं हो then
it is coming from the realization that there are 20 ways. And for me, yeah, I'm at 10, I will write to at least try out 11th one.
Yeah. True. That's very true.
See, and it is coming from the desire to understand. Right? Understanding obviously is very different from wanting the other to change. Right?
Yeah.
So it is coming from the desire to understand. Now, somebody asked me, how do I understand my child? I said, there you go. Learning styles is one of the most amazing ways to understand somebody because it is like the functioning of the machinery, right? The machinery
Yeah.
functions in a certain way. Contents, you leave it. You put it, what the contents today is cricket, tomorrow will be, something else. History, the third day would be whatever, selling mobile phones. Who knows? What contents of the child will keep changing. Our contents keep changing. Vishruti's RJ today, someday something else. So the contents will keep changing, but the machinery, which is also changing, but the machinery is inherent, right? And understanding means to connect with the machinery, and which is where the learning styles bring in a lots and lots and lots of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it will be very interesting. I think it's a wonderful to pause here because we have reached to the level where we are already saying how do we understand the learning styles. So we have taken care of how, but the next we talk, what we are going to talk about it. Let's say if you have a thing in mind, then what to do? Let's say I think you said it in the beginning also that you want to bring one style in child's life, your style in child's life. So how do you do that? Am I there? Yeah, that's what we are going to talk about, right?
Not really. I would say, given that one has an understanding of now 10 style of mine and 10 style of yours, how can I now use this understanding to our benefit or your benefit or to help you, let's say, learn or anything, right? So yeah, in a way we are using, see, once we get an understanding, we can use that understanding in a beneficial way, right? How do
Yeah.
we do that? How, why? So one would say, yes, I want understanding, and that itself is enough. I will say, great, okay, I'm there completely with you. One would say, I have the understanding, now I want to use that so that it benefits my child, which is also fair enough, and also which can benefit me. So till I'm trying to see how this whole exploration can help us both. Yeah, there is
Yeah.
some message in Instagram. I'm not able to see the comment. Can you just check that and then we can close? It's almost, oh, it's 6 o'clock.
Just a second.
I saw and kind of went up and I don't know, not able to figure out how to reach there.
Yeah, mine immediately says, how can you do this all the time? Once or twice is fine. That I always was intrigued how my kid observes everything around him. I sometimes look deeply, but what struck me is that number nine. I may do one or two. I may be. I may. Yeah, I didn't get it. Arvind is trying to say I always my kid observes everything
I
around
think what
him.
he's
I
trying to say is
sometimes
that there are so many more. That's what I have understood. So many more to not just observe, but then, if required, absorb also. So observe, and then if you want, absorb them as include them in your kitty, rather than asking your child to include it in their kitty.
Yeah. So Arvind, we are having our own understanding about your question. You can, I think, comment, DM on Arohi's page if you have any further sharing on this. Yeah.
Yeah, or put yeah, post a further comment on Insta or Facebook, and we can take it from there. Yeah.
Yeah. You know you can also comment on on Instagram or Facebook. Correct. True. Yeah.
Whichever is your style.
Yeah, whichever is your style of medium. Mediums
Yes,
are also
yes.
style. Yes, yes. Lovely. I'm still in a little thinking mode because I feel like pausing right now and
Sure.
think a little because I think that there's so much to think and observe and understand with with already collected data that I have, because I feel that personally there are a lot of perspectives that maybe I haven't looked at, but I can start
Mm.
looking at that thing
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So yeah. So thank
Okay.
you so much, Ratnesh.
Thanks,
For me, it
Vishnuti.
was very overwhelming to to have so many perspective and views to see this day-to-day situation. So yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Okay, great. So we meet next Thursday,
Next
right?
week, next
Yeah.
Thursday, yeah. Figuring out that when we have this 20 ways available, how do we reach from one to another, or how do we pass it on to another? Yeah.
Sure, sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.